Good morning. Welcome to Stamp and Chat. We are on round 4 of the coming home. Just going to check I'm in the right place and share it over to my group just while people drop in. Come on, internet. Internet's gone on a go slow now and it won't refresh. Here we go. Uh-oh. My Mac's having a moment. Okay, I'm refreshed. Alfie's wondering who the heck I'm talking to. Right, let us share this. Hoping somebody is going to join me live this morning. Don't know if anybody is chatting live with me this morning. It's okay, Alfie. I'm talking to myself. Okay, all shared over. Alfie's got the snoozles now. That looks a bit blurry on my screen today. Got a bit of light reflection coming in. I don't know about you. It just looks a bit blurry to me. If you're joining me, please do say hello. It's so nice to know that there is somebody here with me while I am chatting away. I'm just going to slightly tilt my camera. So we are on the last card for the coming home round of Stamp and Chat. If you've not come across me before, or maybe you're catching me via my YouTube channel, my name is Kerry Timms and I'm a UK Stampin' Up demonstrator. I have been running for a few months now this round called Stamp and Chat, and basically I send out products and kits to people in the post, and then each week for 5 weeks I go live and we create a card together. Those at home, some stamp live, some obviously working and other commitments, and now homeschooling. So there's always the opportunity to catch up on the replay. So welcome if you're joining. Please do share this on your Facebook page because it will really help me to reach more creative people. So please do share, give me a like. I mean, if you're catching up on YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe. I'm new to YouTube and trying to grow my numbers to enable me to do more things with YouTube. So good morning if you're hopping in. It's a damp one here in course. I can see I'm up in my studio, a bit of drizzle on the windows, a bit of a grey sky out there. But there we go. Okay, so this is the card we created last week. So the Coming Home stamp set sadly is no longer available. I am using another new stamp set that's live now in the mini catalogue, and that's the Many Messages. So I will show you that shortly. So this was the card we made last week. So quite a bit of colouring in. We're using the Stampin' Blends, part of the kit. And these are the previous cards that you can go back and look through on my YouTube and watch how I've created these. So we'll put those to one side for the moment and bring in today's card. So here it is. Just a card to say hello. I absolutely love this greeting. Let's pull these to one side. Put them in my little box. And here is the greeting set I was talking about. So it's Many Messages. If you've got the mini catalogue, you will find it on page 35. Let me bring my copy in because I can now show you the inside. So this is the stamp, and I say stamp because it is one large cling stamp. You've got lots, obviously, of different, well, it says here it cuts out all 23 images, the die. So you've got 23 different greetings in here, which I just think are fab. Absolutely excellent. And the die, which is just here, this is the die, so it cuts all of those out in one go, just like that. It's brilliant. Now, if you've seen my other lives, you will know that I've cut my set up. I'm not recommending you do that. I chose to do that just for my own reasons of wanting to individually do one thing at a time. But in all honesty, if you stamped all of these out, maybe I use Momento Black ink for a lot of my greetings and my sentiments, and also early espresso. So you could just stamp out a few, die cut them out, and then have them in a little pot so that they're always there when you need that specific greeting. But there are occasions when I may want to stamp one, say, in just Jade. So I wanted the flexibility of that. So this stamp set on its own is £20. Mine need a really good trim around. You can see that. I need to get my rubber scissors, which I think are down in my greenhouse. Don't ask me why they're down there. But I need to trim around those properly. So the stamp set is £20. Let's bring the catalogue back in. And the dies are 32. But if you purchase them both together as a bundle, you will save yourself 10%. And the cost there is £46.75. And that will then earn you a free Celebration item. And who doesn't love something free? And there are some fabulous gifts in here to choose with qualifying orders. So if you don't have, a mini catalogue already and you don't already have a demonstrator, please get in touch. I am waiting for another delivery to arrive of catalogues, and as soon as they're here, I will be posting them out. So if you're stamping live with me today, you need to pull out your card pack number 5, final week. Let's locate some glue and scissors. I feel like I am prepared, but I'm feeling that I'm not prepared at the moment because I've been doing, obviously I start work, started at about 20 to 8 this morning. My work day began, and I've come over here and I've been packing up some kits for some team projects. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it's 5 to 10. I need to get organised and get live. And then even though I prepare stuff, I like to be organised. I just feel a little bit disorganised today for some reason. Okay, so pull out your card kit number 5. And also you'll need a Whisper White base, which is going to be the last one in your kit. So let's move the card to one side. Find your pieces. Now I could probably do with a clean sheet of grid on my mat. Okay, so grab your stamps, find a couple of blocks. I'm going to mount all of mine that I'm using. We're not using too many today. So we want the tall house. We need the car. If you're stamping live as well, you need to gather your blends, pens. Then on this little block, we're going to pop the smoke that comes out of the chimney, which we're actually using for its purpose today. We are going to cut some clouds with it as well. What else do we need? I think that's all we need out of there, just those 3. And then we'll be taking a greeting from the many messages a bit later. So I'm going to put that to one side at the moment. Let's just mount these on. So what have we all been up to? How are we all feeling? It's a bit strange. I'm finding it all a bit strange at the moment. Even though I feel like I'm in my little bubble here because we don't see people going by. You know, we're a little bit remote. We're not like in a village. So I'm kind of used to spending a lot of time here on my own. But I think it is still, it feels different. Definitely feels different this time, the lockdown. But I hope you are all keeping okay and doing well. I know lots of you are homeschooling, which I'm sure is very challenging, trying to fit that around those of you that are working from home as well. So let's start with some stamping. So grab some of your scrap Whisper White cardstock. And let's start with the house, and then we can cut it out and begin colouring. I might try and zoom in a bit. Let's just ink this one first. You're going to fit. Yeah. And then we'll take the car. Stamp him as well. And then just from a little scrap, I got a really tiny bit. Little offcut. There we go, that'll be perfect. Just because I want to save that piece rather than, it's quite a good chunk. Just stamp that little bit of smoke there. And I'm just going to snip these because my Whisper White stocks are getting very low. I've been cutting my 6 card class in the post. I've been doing team kits. I've also been doing another class that I did on Zoom yesterday. So Whisper White is running very thin in the studio at the moment, and it's getting slightly concerning. I will say the new basic white products are available to purchase. You may have seen that online already if you've shopped with me. And I will pop a post up on my blog as well. I haven't posted on there for a few days, but with some links and new product codes for those as well. So I'm really excited to receive those, but we're just having a bit of an issue with shipping. And it's to do with customs having like some kind of system update, and there's been a bit of a backlog, I think, in the ports. So orders have been placed, and I think today things are finally moving. So if you have been ordering online and you're wondering what is happening to your order, that is where we are at the moment. Major shipping delays. Let's grab this little beauty. So also I announced, if you follow me on Instagram, I announced the winner of my the mini stampin' cut and emboss machine. Let's move you there a minute and lay up these plates. So Megan Midwinter, you were the winner. Lucky girl. So I have ordered that, and that machine is on its way. Just grabbing the dies that I need, which is that one on the car. I've popped these back in their packet because I was low on magnet sheets for my box. Let's leave that one out as well. So I put these back in their pocket, ready to store away because I won't be using them after today. They are sadly now retired. So I'm just going to tape. I've got these little bits of washi tape stuck to my mini boss. My baby boss, as I quite often refer to it. And I'm going to cut these out first before I colour, because as you know, colouring can be time consuming, and we don't want to colour in and then cut it and then find that everything has moved, because that won't be fun. I'm going to run this through here. Now I'm going to move this just behind me because I've got my grid paper down. It tends to wobble about on my grid paper. It's quite sturdy on a standard table, but because of the paper, it just moves the paper around everywhere. So brilliant. Love how these cut. I do love our coordination. I think we're very lucky. Let's just put that to one side. Don't want to lose those. This is where dies get lost when you pull them out and they accidentally get thrown in the bin with the bit of paper that they're still attached to. So we're done with that for the moment. I'm going to pull up a chair. I can see there's a couple of you here. Do say hello. I know some of you do only catch me on the replay because that's the only time that you get to yourself for some of you. Let's move you out of the way. So we're going to start just by colouring in. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit. I don't know why it doesn't let me do this. Creating a wobble now. Because sometimes I've been on my live and it will let me zoom. But today it won't. If anyone can answer my question why it won't let me zoom in, I'd be intrigued to know. So I'm starting just with the pool party, and I'm just going to colour in the house, just the main part. So within this round I included one of each of the light blends pens in Pool Party, just Jade and Crumb Cake, but I also gave the option to purchase the dark one that goes with it as well. I don't mind hanging on to the extra spares, or they can be used in another class or another event. So just go a bit heavier under the windows. And just a little bit heavier under the roof where it comes down. And then we'll go with the Crumb Cake and just colour in the roof. I do love how versatile this stamp set has proven to be for me. I think these have been really good masculine cards. But equally, if you threw in a lot more pink, they would make really good feminine cards as well. But like I've said, you know, we always need a variety of cards in our little stash of cards that we send out. And I think it's good to have some for, you know, people who are moving. And people are definitely, I think lockdown has made a lot of people think about life in general as well. Think about where they're living and what they want from life. I think people have had time to evaluate where they are. Okay. And then we'll just colour in the door. I like to use my bullet tip. I don't know why. I mean, we've got this lovely brush tip here, which is good for going around edges. I don't know, I feel more in control with the bullet point. I don't know, what do you guys prefer? I suppose if you've got a really tiny area you need to colour, then that brush tip is good for that. Okay, a little tip with these pens as well, be really careful because the lids are quite stiff, and I don't know if you can see that. Let me stand up and see where my camera is. There is like a designated hole in the lid for the nib to go in. So when you're placing that back in, make sure it's straight. Don't be popping it in at an angle where it's going to catch, and then that will damage the nib on your pen as well. So always be quite careful about how you replace that. Okay, let's do the little car, and here's just coloured in Crumb Cake. It's really quick colouring. I'm not being precise by any means. Kind of leaving pale a bit in the centre, just to give it a bit of, to try to give it look like it's got a bit of depth. Obviously if you've got the darker blends, this is where you can add in to get your depth in your shading and your blending, real blending. This isn't real colouring. Couldn't get my lid off then. So a bit of Pool Party on the windows. and a bit on the guards as well. So I've got another live happening tonight. I've restructured my 6 cards class in the post, and I'm now going to be doing a live event every month so that people can actually stamp along with me. So I'm really looking forward to that this evening. So I need to get prepared for that later and get everything together in a basket so I know where I am. I'm going to just cut out this little puff of smoke coming out of the chimney. That was a bit far away. Let's get a bit closer to the line. You can hear the birds singing out there, they're happy. It's just a bit, I think when it's a bit grey and a bit damp, it doesn't really give you the motivation to want to do a lot, does it? We were out in the garden at the weekend and I really didn't want to go out. I think it was Sunday. Needed to go down to my veg garden and do a bit of tidying. There were leaves all over the paths down there that had dropped from the trees along the back. And Jason had come out. He was doing some raking of leaves on the grass, just general tidying up. I was like, oh, I did a bit of work and I was watching. I thought, I need to go out. I need to step out of the house because I haven't been out for a while. So, but I enjoyed it, enjoyed the fresh air, and then we went for a really good WALK with you know who down the lane. So yeah, it was lovely to get out, lovely to come back into a warm house, have a cup of coffee and a treat. So yeah, but it doesn't, when you're out there it's okay, and I think it's thinking about it. It's thinking about wrapping up and venturing to go out. Okay, next I'm going to, let me just bring the card back in so you can see it. Stand up and make sure that I'm in shot. So just want to create these clouds, and we did do clouds last week. I think we did them on Whisper White. Did we do clouds last week? I can't remember. I might have even shown you the wrong card that we did last week. I don't think we did clouds last week. I think it was the week before. So you need to grab some scraps of, well, a little scrap of pool party cardstock, and we're going to take the little cloud, it's not a cloud, the smoke from the chimney again, and just create a couple of cloud shapes. Might have to stand up for this. So a couple of cloudy shapes that we're going to cut out. Don't want them too big. Oops, that's fine. I'll be able to go over that because it's not going to show. It's because we're working from the reverse. And then we'll do a smaller one. I think just like that. So they look very rough and very random. But we'll just cut those. Save that bit for later. And just trim. Doesn't matter if you go over any edges because this is the reverse. We're just using this kind of as a guideline to give us the curves on how to create a kind of cloud shape like that. Quite a random cloud, that one. But then they are, aren't they? No two are the same. It's very quiet on here today. What are you guys all up to? I can see there's a couple of people watching. I think my regulars are all homeschooling, back at work. Okay, so there's our two little cloud shapes. Now, if you've got a pool party ink, you can take your little sponge that I included. Always like to include a sponge wedge. Of course, we've now got the blending brushes, so I may well go over the outer edge with some of that, and then we're just going to go over the edges just so that these clouds stand out against the pool party sky. So they can be quite heavy on the edges. Can you see the difference? It does make them pop. I'm going to end up with inky fingers. There. That will do for now. So I think that's our stamping bits done. I think that's it. Let's just move this to one side for the moment and bring in the rest of our layers. So you will have had in your kits an insert, and then you've got a pool party layer for the front of your card, and then you would have had 3 random pieces like this. And basically what I did was I cut my layer just so it matted above the pool party, and then this die in the set, I literally cut one piece at the bottom like that, and then from the piece that was left, let me put them like this, I popped it back in my machine and then cut another. And then the bigger piece that was left, I just cut another piece like that. And then basically we're just going to layer these up just to create like a scene. But what I did was also took my dauber, not my dauber, my little sponge wedge, move you back out of the way, and just went over the edge with pool party to add a bit of depth and make each layer like hill stand out. Now I've done this a lot more heavier than I did on my original because it didn't actually, when I stuck it all together, it didn't stand out that well. So I'm not taking any ink off of my sponge. I'm just constantly reloading it in the hope that it might stand out a bit better. I will bring the card back in just so that you can see what I mean if you're not sure what on earth I am talking about. A bit more on that layer. Okay, move you out. I got ink all over me. No, I'm doing okay. Morning, Belle. How are you? What are you up to? Are you stopping by between schooling? So these basically layer like this to create a scene, like different layers of hills. So I think also what I'm going to do as well is bring in my little scrap back in. Bring the pool party ink. I'm going to put the lid on the Memento for a moment because I can see something landing in there. And I'm just going to add, with the new blending brush, just going to add a bit of colour, I suppose, to the top of this card as sort of part of the sky. Belle, you're cooking pancakes. Oh, how lovely. I've not had breakfast yet, so I will be heading over after this live to get something. So I'm just gently tapping it in. You can see the colour on there, and I'm going to take a bit off. I don't want it to be too heavy, and it does take a bit of time to build it up. I'm just going to add it to the top layer. Might need to put a bit more on, and the more you play with these brushes, the more you learn how much you need. I'm thinking, do I need to take it off? And although it doesn't look like a lot is happening, I can see a difference. You probably can't. I don't want to go too heavy and then end up with a mark like I just did. So it's good to kind of start off of your paper and then kind of work in a circular motion onto your paper. These brushes are just fabulous. They come in a pack of 3. They're £11.25. I hope I'm not wobbling my table too much. I think that's all I want. I think that's just the effect I want. I might go down a little bit lower this side. And I do need to play with these brushes more. I was playing with them last week when I went live to a group for my catalogue launch. But they're brilliant. They're really just, they're so soft, so they give a subtle effect that you can actually build on. Can you see I've got a bit of a line there? See if I can take that out just by adding in a bit more. And if I hold up a little bit of Pool Party up against that, you will hopefully see the difference it does create. It's kind of subtle, but you can build on it. You love the blending brushes. Yeah, they are really good, aren't they, Belle? I think it's kind of, because it's something I've not done before, I just feel a bit, it's the unknown. Not really sure what I'm doing, but I think when that happens, you need to just sort of play and create with them. So these layers here, we're just going to layer them in. I'm going to do them individually. I'm going to start with my bottom one first and just pop a bit of glue along the bottom. Let's get the end off of my Tombow. And I'm going to put a bit up there because I want to slide the other layer down beneath it. So just an even border at the bottom. Wish I could zoom in a bit. Morning, Ruth. Nice of you to join us. Got a bit of Tombow on there. Let's get rid of that. Are you working this morning, Ruth? Okay, and if this is too long to slide under, I can just trim a bit off. So I'm just going to make sure before I put glue, I can get that one under. And I'm not going to put glue at the top because I need to slide this other panel in. So I'm just going to pop glue along the bottom area. And then we'll just slide it underneath. Hopefully my hands aren't in the way too much, and get it as straight. That moved then, but I think it's okay. A little bit crooked. Along the bottom. You could, of course, put that bottom one on a dimensional. Now I may just have to chop a bit off of the bottom here. Depends how low it will let me go. No, it's going to let me slide that down quite far because I didn't glue right the way up. And what I'm simply going to do, now I've got it in place, I'm just going to lift it and just pop in some glue from behind like that. Check that we're all lining up. And I think that will be enough there to pop our clouds in. Use this little scrap. And what I'm going to do, that was close, is pop a bit of glue just under there. And maybe just under this edge. Like that. And a bit under there. So that's our like scene layer Got a bit, looks a bit grungy up here where I've done a bit of blending. Got a bit of sticky Tombow down there. This adhesive remover comes out all the time. So handy. I think, let's build this up onto our base. So grab your Whisper White base and fold it in half and give it a little score. So the bases of my card, they measure, when I cut, 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. And then I usually work down, I take off 1/4 inch to do the front layer. It depends. This looks like it's 3/8 of an inch maybe. So I think we can go ahead and pop this down onto our base. And then we haven't got too many bits and pieces lying around waiting to get something ink dropped on them. Although I only need my memento now for the greeting. Okay, so that's our card base. Now let's, I think first, pop in the house, and we're going to slide, get it in the right layer. It's going to slide just in there. Just want to hide that white layer. Belle, do you like this colour combo? I know, I'm so drawn to Just Jade. Absolutely loving it. I seem to be using it on everything at the moment. And Pulp Art is, you know, it's in the subtles. It's one of my colours as well. So let's just pop some glue under here. And just slide it under, just so it hides. Don't want to hide too much for the front door, but just so that it hides the bottom of that card. So it's slightly higher up than my original, but it's fine. And now that we've got that in place, let's pop some. I've got my mini dimensionals. Finally arrived. That one just pulled off the wrong way round and stuck to me. Finally got my mini dimensionals back. Makes me happy. Belle's going to be asking me in a minute about the foam adhesive sheets that I still haven't got. Now I've put the sticker on the wrong side of that one. Let's get another. Pulled it off and then put it back on, and the sticker stuck on the wrong side. Sticking to me. And then we'll just pop these clouds one up here. And then, in fact, now I've stuck that on, we'll recycle you for something else in a minute, because I need to overlap you. Whoops, it's alive. Like that. And then we can pop in a bit of Tombow there. And just pop in our smoke coming out of the chimney, which is the first time we've actually used this stamp in this whole round for what it was actually designed for. I can feel something under there then. Next we can take the car. Let's use that one I just pulled off because it's still sticky. And grab another. And then we're just going to pop this. Coming up the hill. Coming home, as the stamp set says. Also in your kits, I die cut you a couple of, I can't pick anything up with my nails. I'm frantically waiting for them to grow. These are from the Curvy dies, which are now available in the new mini book. Not sure how long I want these. They're just going to kind of wedge under there. We'll have a longer one and a shorter one. Snip you off there. I think I might leave that one quite long. So a bit of Tombow. Hello, Janet. You're joining us from Spain. Home sweet home, hey? What's your weather doing over there, my lovely? It's really grey and damp here. Although we've had a bit of an increase in the temperature, which is nice. But I think it's going to go a bit cooler. It's very up and down at the minute. I did say to Jason this morning, do we need to have the heating on? Because the heating at the minute is on 24/7. And because of the house layout, because it's quite open plan, the heating never actually gets to temperature and switches off. So it's kind of on all the time. And I said to him this morning, I think we're going to have a couple of mild days. Should we switch the heating off? I mean, for me to suggest that is a miracle, because you all know that I'm such a cold bean. And he said, no, let's just leave it on. Let's keep it up to temperature and keep it toasty. So Janet, it's bright and sunny but chilly. Yeah, I went out and delivered some kits yesterday. I did do some at the weekend because we went out and did our food shop. But I needed to head in a different direction. So I popped out yesterday, but I was really cold. I had my heater on in the car, my bum seat heater, my bottom heater, whatever you want to call it. But I had that one on in the car to keep me toasty. But it was like 9 degrees, but it felt so much colder. It's kind of a damp cold. So it's drizzly here. You can see it just running down the windows. Not the best, but don't let it put you off. Get your gear on, get your hat on, get your waterproofs on. Take yourself out, even for just a quick 20-minute stroll. Honestly, it clears the head. It's good for the soul. So you will have one of these die cut from this Many Messages die. Love it, love it. You know I love it. I love it all. I love the coordination. I love how everything goes together. And I have used just a card to say hello, which I think covers a lot of bases. And let's stamp that. Gonna need that in a moment. Mount it up. Got a block ready. Belle, I'm looking back. Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me about the foam sheet. I do need to place an order. Maybe I should embrace some, but I think the word is tight. I'm so tight with what I use. I think at least when I'm using the minis, I don't feel like I'm wasting them because I'm sort of dotting them about. When I use the regular ones, I feel like I'm using too many of them. I know that sounds daft, and I think if I have that foam sheet pad, that I'm going to be frightened to use it, and I'm going to end up using pieces that are smaller than the dimensionals, and I think it'll be defeating the object. Janet, it's about 9 degrees there. Brr. Yeah, well, that's like positively tropical for what we've had recently. But still, if it's bright and sunny, it makes all the difference, doesn't it? Just to have a bit of blue sky. I think all this grey can get a little bit too much. Right, I'm just moving my die over there ready. I need a little scrap. Let's bring in my foam mat. And I need my Memento for this. I'm just going to ink up just a card. There's a bit on something on that side. Just a card to say hello. And then what I like to do, got a bit of a bend on this die. It's where my top plate's bent. Although I have treated myself to a new top plate. And I'm going to use this one, which is my favourite. So I'm going to line it over. Let's grab a bit of washi tape from my mini machine. And then just try not to get my head or my hair in the camera. Are you in your craft room, Janet? Having a creative morning? I know, so lucky. I cannot wait for... I don't want to wish my life away, and I don't want to wish anyone's life away at all. But I am looking forward to spring now. Just, you know, the daffodils are trying to come up. The snowdrops are up. And I'm looking forward to a bit of dry, a bit of bright. Look at my new top plate. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, getting out in the garden, you know, repotting all the containers and having a bit of pretty. I'm just going to run this through my big machine. It's quite noisy because it has to cut through all of those edges. You hear the crunking and creaking of it going through. I know, I feel like the garden is it's just like grungy, brown, dare I say dead, like things just look, I'm not gonna throw those away, guys, I'm gonna save those. It just needs a bit of love out there, and we just need a bit of brighter weather, a bit of dry, bright weather to give me the motivation to get out there and get ahead of it. Okay. You're having a craft cavern. So you haven't actually moved into the new house yet. When we move into the house, I have a complete shed to yourself. Fabulous. That is just amazing. Very lucky. I think for those of us who have got our own creative space, we are just so lucky, because you can't beat having a designated area. So, a bit of glue on this DSP. Sadly, this DSP isn't available. Oh yes, this is. This is from the In Colour collection, 6x6 pack. Sorry, got floating Alfie hair. And I don't know if I've got it to hand. So it comes in the In Colours, and you've got the patterns on there. So I was thinking this was from the classic Christmas set. Yeah, so going back to having a designated craft area, when I first began crafting many moons ago, I started off with a corner in the spare room. And you've heard me tell this tale before, but we had a double bed in there and a wardrobe. And I just had a little desk in the corner. And then I would have my boxes stacked up either side of the desk and underneath with all of my craft stuff in. And then one day I was like, I think we need to, can we get rid of the wardrobe? You know, this is a spare room. We don't need the wardrobe in here. So I talked Jason into us getting rid of the wardrobe. And then it was like, actually, we don't have guests that often. Can we get rid of the bed? And I bought loads of IKEA units, and for a long time I had lots of very empty IKEA units. You know, the Kallax, the square cubes, had lots of empty, like, cube areas. Boy, did I soon fill them up. You guys know what it's like. And then when we moved here, oh my goodness, what a task. What a task. So actually packing up my craft room was quite a task in itself, but I had loads of the cube boxes from IKEA, and I just filled everything up into those boxes, which was quite good because obviously a lot of them were already in the cube, so they had stuff in. But I can remember the day when we actually just moved my craft room like over here to the new house, because we took about a week or two to move from one house to the other. We didn't have to be out of our house. So we took a little while, and when it was the day to bring the stuff from my craft room, we could not believe how many boxes we were carrying down the stairs that were just from my craft room. Jason was in disbelief, but you know what it's like. We hoard things and we accumulate things, and we like lots of stash. So yeah, Belle, you're right. Crafters are collectors. Although I've got a cupboard, I'm looking at it, it's over the other end of my studio, that I dragged a few things out because I need to make room for some other stuff. I'm trying to get more organised around here. So I was like, this cupboard is one half of it has got my sewing stuff in, and the other half has got like some old inks, some re-inkers, some old boxes that we used to sell, and some old kits, and I need to just get them out and give them away, gift them. So because they're just in there, they're not being used, they're not being loved, and they're kind of in my way. So I'm on a mission, but I've got so many other things that I'm trying to do at the same time as well. You know, design classes and get my Simply Pretties kits sorted, and it's just ongoing. So here is our finished card. I hope you like it. Another good man one, I think. Let's just bring in the previous. I'm pretty sure that's the one we did last week. So lots of different cards, all using the Coming Home stamp set, which I feel like a bit of a fraud sharing it on here now that you can't actually buy it. But of course, if you have something different in your stash, you can recreate something similar. We've had other house stamps along the way. Belle, you love them. Thank you. Janet, you're going. Cheese and wine event. Goodness me, at this time of the day, I suppose that's what happens in Spain. Have fun, my lovely. It was lovely to have you join us for a bit. Do come and catch up later on the replay. And take care and stay safe. Nice to have you here, Janet. So I've used the Many Messages stamp set. And as you know, there is the die that goes with it. So I'm hoping that I might have inspired you to make a purchase on this one, because I am using it all the time. Another stamp set I wanted to share with you today was this one. And it's called Handmade for You. And I know there are a lot of you out there that create your own cards. I know a lot of people over lockdown have begun to sell their handmade projects. So this is a really good set for that, because Stampin' Up has an angel policy, and it means that if you are selling projects, cards, boxes that are using Stampin' Up's images, we need to be showing the copyright logo here. So there's two on here. You've got an individual one, then you've got one here, which I think is lovely. But I just adore this stamp set. I think it's fabulous. It's £16. It's in the new mini catalogue, and a really good investment, I think. I love the Handmade for You. I've been putting that on a lot of my cards as well. And if you're a bit of a stitchy kind of person, whether you do, you know, you work with your sewing machine, whether you embroider, whether you quilt, I think Stitch with Love is another really nice one that can be used as well. Okay, next thing I want to share with you, Ruth. Yeah, the cards are all really different. They are quite a good kind of variety. But just brought in my big basket here. Not quite sure how this is going to look on. It's going to take up my whole of the screen. But this is the next thing I am going to be sharing. So we will be starting a brand new round of Stamp and Chat next week. So I hope you'll come back for that. Still the regular 10 o'clock. We're going to be using the floating and fluttering stamps for that one, and the dies as well. But I've got a lot of new things, been doing lots of planning, just grabbing my notes. And this is one of my product classes that is coming, and details will be coming out on that really very, very soon. So let's grab it all out on the desk. This is the Pretty Perennials stamps. This is my colour combo. I'll bring that back in. Let's share with you the stamps and the dies first. And I'm just going to grab my catalogue and find the page for you. I'm not very good at finding, did I write it down? Yeah, page 31. So you've got the Pretty Perennial stamp set, which is a $1 million sales stamp set. I absolutely love this. It's just so usable. It's so fun. You can be so creative with this. But it also has the perennial petals dies. that go with it, which are gorgeous. So you've got dies that are kind of standalone, that don't actually cut out a stamped image, you don't coordinate, but then you've got lots of dies that coordinate with the stamped images as well. So a really fab set. Stamps on their own are £17, dies on their own are £30, but if you buy them together as a bundle, they're £42.25, and you are going to find a lot of uses with this. I mean, this stamp set is great for kind of creating your own background papers. I'm just looking at your message, Belle. You got FOMO. Oh, I know, isn't it gorgeous? It's such a lovely set. Keep saying you've got enough florals. Yeah, I know it's really hard. It is really hard, but I think you can never have enough flowers. Never have enough flowers. Let's bring in some projects. So I'm going to be doing a class in the post. So it's going to include, this is my colour scheme for it. It's going to include the Pretty Perennials stamp set. It's going to include some of the Snail Mail twine, which is in White and Blushing Bride. It's also going to include some of the True Love DSP. And let's just find that for you. So it's the black and white one. So it's this one here. It's going to include some of this, 1/4 of a pack. You've got your postage in there, and of course some project kits. So it's going to be a mixture of cards and something 3D as well. And it's going to be £35 posted. So in these colourways, with the stamp set, with some twine, some DSP, and all your pre-cut project kits with obviously die cuts as well and embossed layers or anything. That's £35. Now, if you want to add on the dies, you will save yourself 10% on the bundle. So the whole kit will then come out at £60.25, and you will earn yourself a free Celebration set as well, because that will bump your order up to £45. So I'll show you some projects I've done with it. I did a Zoom class with these yesterday. So they're quite bright and fun for me. In fact, well, are they bright? You won't class them as bright, but they're quite bright for me. Quite a lot of colour. Oh, we've got a little creased petal there. It survived, don't panic. Are we all in shot? So this is the Paper Blooms Celebration freebie. So when you spend £45, you get to choose a free item from the little brochure. And you can see here I've fussy cut out the word happy from the Pretty Perennials. And I focused my colours on this pack of DSP. So we've got a lot of Rococo Rose. This is Soft Sea Foam. We've got Old Olive in there. We've got Seaside Spray. Rococo Rose, which I said, and I'm starting to get really twitchy about some of these colours retiring. So when we have our new catalogue, our new annual catalogue, mid-year, we're going to be having some new in colours, which means this and this are both going to be leaving us, and also Pretty Peacock. I mean, what are we going to do in our lives without these colours? I am worried. Belle, you're liking these samples. They're stunning. Thank you so much. They've got a bit flat and squashed. You know me, I like things to be all 3D. But yeah, just love the colours. I love the possibilities. Where's my stamp set gone? Excuse my arm coming in. I love the possibilities of the greetings on here. So happy for you. Happy mail. You make me happy. Sending lots of happy. I just think it's fabulous. Fabulous. Really good set, really great value as well. So these are what I did for another class. Also, I don't know if you can see, I've used a couple of different embossing folders. This isn't a new one, and this one I don't know whether the light will catch it, but it's called the Subtle embossing folder. Absolutely love it. That's why you've got a job to see it on camera, because it is so subtle. But it's like it reminds me of like a textured, like that wallpaper with that bit of texture in it. And then also I've used another new embossing folder for here. I think it's called the Painted Texture. So yeah, I was quite happy. They look quite fun and quite fresh, but I think that's how this set lends itself to being very kind of fresh and fun. If I just pull back in the catalogue, let's find my page again. Like I said, it was on page 31. I love this example in here. So let me get that in shot. Look how fun this is. And that is just stamping onto the base of a card. Absolutely beautiful. Look at those colours. I don't know if I can be daring enough. Maybe I should step out of my comfort zone and create something like that with some really fun, bright colours and see how it makes me feel. But you know me, I'm a subtles girl at heart. So you like the set as well, Ruth? Yeah, it's lovely. So that's going to be my class in the post, my product class. I will be emailing that out if you're on my email list, and I will be popping that up on my blog as well. I'm also going to be, by request, bringing back my scrapbook class by post. Well, I've never brought it by post before, but I've had a few people ask about scrapbooking because I used to run a regular monthly class for scrapbooking, where we created 3 layouts. So I thought I've sat down, made some plans, and I thought I could offer like a bi-monthly scrapbook class by post, because obviously I need to send out 12 by 12 papers. It has to go as a large parcel with postage, which isn't kind of cheap to post. So I thought if I did it bi-monthly and sent like 2 months worth of layouts in one go, then it would kind of help cut the price down a bit. So I've got that coming as well. What else have I got coming? You need to check out, we've now got the new basic white that's replacing our Whisper White. So that is now available. If you're putting in an old code, I believe it will flag up and just automatically pop the new basic white code in for you. What else is on my list? New round of Stampin' Chat coming next week. Simply Pretties in the post. That is another thing that I do where you receive a selection of coordinating products, and that is this time including the True Love DSP, because it is just so beautiful and it lends itself so well to colouring. So that, I think, is about it. If you want more information about anything, please do get in touch. Please, if there's anything I can help you with, because I know for some of you shopping online can be a bit of a, it's like the unknown, but it is really easy shopping online with me. You just have to create an account if you haven't done already. It's quick, it's easy. For those of you that have done it before, you will know how easy it is. If you want information about joining my team, because now is such a good time to join. I've had a few new joiners already this month, and I know there's a couple more of you who are thinking about it. It's just such a great opportunity. And with extra free gifts during celebration, there's no better time. So without waffling anymore, I think I will leave you with a little view of the Pretty Perennials. Thank you guys for stopping by and saying hello. It was lovely to chat with you all. I'm going to head over now. I'm going to have to put my hood out when I run back over to the house. Somebody else is moving, waking up off of his bed, so he'll be coming over with me as well. More wet paws to dry. Don't you just hate that? And I'm going to grab myself some breakfast and then get on with the rest of my day of crafting. So take care, everybody. Thank you for coming by, and I will be back with you very, very soon. For some of you this evening, so I will see you later. Bye for now.